So it appears I have been called out on LinkedIn for telling people to lie on their resume and fake it until you make it. Let me show you. I recently watched a famous YouTuber explain why it's okay to lie on your resume in order to get a job. His reason? You can learn on the job. Fake it until you make it. That's not the reason at all in the video. But let's be sure she's talking about me, right? The video has over 617,000 views. Okay, yeah, right there. Over 617,000 views. 31,000 likes. Okay, yeah. And 600 dislikes. Well, if you had actually watched the video, you would know that my reason isn't you can learn on the job, fake it until you make it. First of all, 75% of this video is talking about job gaps and how they unfairly affect people trying to get jobs just because they have a job gap. And because they have a job gap, their job gap gets longer because companies think that you're unemployable because otherwise you wouldn't have a job gap and somebody would have hired you right now. Oh, you want to be honest and say that you had sick family or that you were working on personal projects or that you were freelancing in the meantime? Companies don't care. That doesn't count. Go watch the video. Like if you had at least just attached the video to this post here, people could see that my reason isn't you can learn on the job, fake it till you make it. Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, if you think that you can do a job, then apply, right? But obviously, don't just lie about having credentials that you completely don't have that you would actually need to do the job. Like if you're not a doctor, you can't just apply to be a doctor and be like, yeah, I have a medical license, or like a lawyer where you say that you have a license to practice law, and you don't. Like, obviously, don't do these things. But if you think that you can learn to do a job after you read the job post, then go ahead and apply for it. It doesn't mean completely fake it until you make it. Here's the problem with his logic, she says. If you lie on your resume, you'll always be afraid of being caught. Okay, so this isn't even in the video. Like, dumb bitches can't listen, I guess, because that's not what I say. I say, get to the interview and then be honest. Like, if you had just linked the video so people could watch, they would know that this isn't true. Use the resume as a tool to get to the interview where you can have a conversation. Conversations that wouldn't otherwise happen had you had not changed your resume. And the example I use in this video is talking about job titles. If your company gives you a job title simply because they want to pay you less and you ended up doing lots of stuff at your job, well, when you go to apply to the next job, you change your job title to accurately reflect what you were doing, which is technically lying, but it's actually more accurate to the company you're applying to. I'm not saying lie on the resume, lie in the interview, lie about your ability in the interview. Use the resume as a ticket to have a conversation. Job posts are not law. So you can apply and they can be like, actually, yeah, we can change these credentials for this guy. He looks good. We like what he can do. I don't say fake it until you make it. I say lie to get to the interview and then be honest. They're going to background check you anyways. You're going to get a code test. You're going to get some sort of application test to prove your ability, to prove your worth. Like if you're getting hired without anything other than a resume, that company has a bad hiring process. She goes on to say, you'll never feel comfortable asking questions about things you should already know. People do that anyways. Tons of experience too. They're like, yeah, I know I've been here for a while, but I don't know how to do it. You'll always feel like an imposter because, well, you are an imposter. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying go in there and pretend to be someone you're not. I'm saying go in there to explain discrepancies that you wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to explain. I think this is a problem in cybersecurity. People desperate to break into cybersecurity will exaggerate their experience and knowledge just to feed their families and pay their bills. You're fucking right. Of course they will. I would too, and I wouldn't shame anyone else for it. These folks will make a ton of mistakes because they're afraid of asking for help. After all, they already know how to do their work. They were hired for You're taking the video I made completely out of context, bitch. This isn't what I said at all. 75% of this video is me talking about fucking job gaps. Why it's unfair for them to use your honesty against you. Here's some food for thought. Jobs can lie to you about everything, but you can't lie to them about anything. For example, jobs can lie to you about salary. They'll post, we're going to pay $70,000. So you spend 3 months to go through the entire interview process and you get to the end and they're like, well, we're going to pay $35,000 for the first 2 years. Then we're going to add commission later up to 70,000. And you've just wasted everybody's time. Jobs can lie to you about quality of life. They can say you'll have this, this, and this at work, and then give you none of it. Jobs can lie to you about what your job is actually doing. The job post might say you're building one thing, when in reality, you're just doing marketing or something. You see that with front-end development with like WordPress jobs. It says front-end developer, and then they get there, and it's just someone changing WordPress. Jobs can lie to you about moving up in the company. They say, oh, we have fantastic upward mobility, and actually have zero upward mobility. Jobs can lie to you about raises or bonuses or pretty much just about anything. But if you change the date on your resume from your last employment so you don't have a job gap, you're the bad guy. Come the fuck on. But this is the part that really gets me. People desperate to break into cybersecurity. No, people desperate to pay their bills. This is what you're confusing. That's a big difference. People desperate to break into cybersecurity. No. People desperate not to be homeless so they don't get an eviction on their record, which follows them for 7 years. And then they can't get another apartment because no one will hire them because they have an eviction for 7 years. Because they don't want to get bad credit because companies check credit down. Because they don't want to lose their livelihood, which makes it incredibly hard to start over. So if it came down to me lying on my resume so I could pay my bills and feed my family and not be homeless so that I could be a good contributing member of society, then yes, I will. And if that's bad, then whatever, dude. Feel free to shame me. I'm not gonna go sell drugs on the street corner. Start going do like illegal stuff. I want to work. I want to be a member of society. I want to grow my skill set. I want to be a professional, but nobody wants to hire me because I'm being honest about a job gap, which is, again, what most of the video is about. And if you had actually linked it, then other people could see. Because now everyone in the comments is like, this is terrible. And this is not what I said at all. There comes a point when someone is applying to a job that the actual applicant knows better what this company needs than what the company thinks it needs. I'm sure you guys have been in that situation. You've looked at a job and it says it needs 8 years experience to do this one simple thing. You don't have 8 years experience. Let's say you have like 2 years experience. You're like, you don't need 8 years experience to do that. But it says don't apply unless you have 8 years experience. This is insane. The person who wrote this has no idea what they're doing. So you click apply anyways, and it says, do you have 8 years experience? But you know that you can do the task that it's describing in the job. So you click apply anyways. Yes, you've lied. But, you realize what they're asking for is dumb and makes no sense. This happens all the time. Jobs lie to you about how great it is. You lie to them about how great you are. It's just, if everyone was honest, nobody would have jobs. I wish that wasn't the way it had to be, okay? So that's what I think maybe you're looking at me like I'm telling people to do bad things. I wish this wasn't the situation. I wish that people could be honest and people could be understanding on the other side, in the corporate side, where they're like, oh, okay, life happens. Life makes sense. So you had some ups and downs. They don't give a fuck about that. If you don't have a perfectly clean record, there is no room for you in corporate for 99% of the people in the world. You can't have bumps and blips and life happens moments in the corporate world, is what I've come to discover. And if you have, and you found a nice person in HR that listened to your story and heard you out, congratulations, dude. That is awesome. But for most people, that didn't happen. I tried it again. And in this video, I say I tried to be honest, but it didn't work. And it sucks that it only worked when I started lying about job dates and skills. It's like when recruiters are recruiting for a job and all they're looking for is matching keywords. They don't care about anything else. If you don't have the keywords they're looking for, you're going to get ignored. Same thing for the ATS, applicant tracking systems that these big corporations use. They filter out keywords. They don't filter out context because there is no context when you're applying to a job through an automated system for straight up keywords. And if you don't have it, you're not hired. And a lot of the time, you don't even use like half of the keywords that they're looking for. They're just buzzwords that they add on there because they're like software engineering. Let me see what that does. Because the person writing the job post has no idea what the job actually does. The person that wrote these job posts aren't the person that you'll be working with. There's some person far removed from the position that you're reading about. But somehow, they're also responsible for interviewing you and knowing if you can do the job or not. This happens all the time. HR people interviewing devs and they're looking at their dev skill. It happened to me. I had to take a code test for O'Reilly Auto Parts and I had to be on speakerphone with 2 HR people taking a code test. Like, what? You guys have no idea what I'm doing. You can't help me. You can't clarify these questions. Why are you responsible for doing this? None of it makes sense. And the charade goes on until something breaks or their company is breached. My point is this. Hire someone with no experience. That's what we're trying to do. All these people are trying to get into the industry, but nobody can. Because all these jobs are like, you gotta have 8 years experience, entry level. Like, good thinking, right? It sounds nice. That'd be great if there were actual no experience required jobs. Even the jobs that say no experience required say master's degree and 1 year experience required. The YouTuber is right about one thing though, you can learn on the job. That's still true. You'll just learn a lot better when you're allowed to be a student. You should be allowed to be a student regardless. If you're experienced, if you're not experienced. Let me show you guys what some of these comments look like. I do not agree with this. As you may be able to exaggerate your resume, you cannot fake what you know during an interview. Exactly, Derek. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, get to the interview, be honest. Done. They're gonna give you a code test anyways, right? This is an example of exactly what I'm talking about, right? The job really cares about job gaps, and you currently have a 3-month job gap. So you change the date of your last date of employment to be current, and then you go to the interview, and they say, okay, you're currently working here right now, according to your resume, right? It says that you're currently employed there, and this is what you say. This is how, when I say be honest, you say, oh, actually, they actually ran out of budget, and they had to let the entire team go, so it's unfortunate, but you know how things are with job gaps and stuff. But I've been looking since then. That was, maybe a month or so ago, and you just explain away your job gap. Whereas if you had applied with that job gap to begin with, you wouldn't be in there having that conversation right now. Because imagine what he's going to say, or the person interviewing is going to say. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. Job gaps are dumb, And then you'll move on with the next stage of the interview, and then you'll go on to the code test and ability assessment, culture fit, all that other stuff that you have to do. Right? But you wouldn't even be in there getting to those next stages if you had not lied about your job gap. That's how this stuff goes. I'm not saying go to the interview, sit down and be like,
yes, actually, I have 10 years experience doing absolutely everything, and you don't need to test me on that or quiz me on any of my knowledge. Just completely trust me 100%. I would never lie about anything ever, and everything that I'm going to give you for my background check is been forged, and it is complete fraud, and it's totally fine. Like,
I'm not saying to do that. They're going to background check you anyways, but background checks happen after you already, are some ways in the interview, towards the end, because it costs the company money. Companies aren't just background checking anyone who applies. They bring you in and then feel you out and look at your ability, and then they background check you. So they're going to find out all the stuff that you lie about anyway, so it's pointless, right? The point is to get to the interview and then be honest. They can find your education. They can find your last W-2s. They can look up the IRS records and all that stuff. They can see tons of stuff about you. But they're not going to do that when you first apply. They're going to do that later when they almost hire you. I watch his videos, but I don't agree with everything he says. Perfectly okay. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I say that. He does tell you to be honest during the interview, so don't misconstrue what he says. The resume is just a ticket to the interview. Thank you, Robert Henderson. Even though we don't agree with everything eye to eye, we do agree that this is in fact what I said. He does tell you to be honest in an interview. He doesn't say, fake it until you make it. Cybersecurity of all fields is the last place to fake it until you make it. And you won't. That's the thing. You will never go to a cybersecurity company and be like, yeah, I do, pen testing, blah, blah, blah. They're going to give you a code test. They're going to give you an ability test. Good luck trying to fake it if you make it. And if a company, like a cybersecurity company, is just hiring people without testing their skills, probably that's a shitty company to work for. You're going to get tested. You're going to get put through the ringer. Integrity is everything. There's a difference between selling yourself as strongly as possible and outright lying on a resume in an interview. No, you lie on a resume and be honest in the interview. Bitch, why didn't you link the video so people could see what I said? This shit pissed me off. Dumb bitches can't listen today. I can't respond to this. I can't use my current LinkedIn account to respond to this, otherwise LinkedIn will ban me. So I would appreciate it if the people that watch this video go leave this video link on this post here so that she can see it for visibility, and everyone else in here saying, that's terrible, blah, 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 how does he have so many views and blah, blah, and you should never lie, and go link the video that she's talking about, and then link this video so she sees this for visibility and knows that you're wrong. The minute I catch you in that lie, I will walk you out of the interview. Good, because that's not what I say at all. Of course, the big problem is I watch the famous YouTuber. Shut the fuck up, Kenneth Hodge. Who the fuck are you? Well said. It's sad and concerning to see that there are people encouraging lying in your resume, masking it as a good thing. Too many people out there giving advice, pretending to know what they're talking about when they don't. Boy, I made what you made all year last week. People need to stop for a second and think of the quality and source of the information they're receiving. This is fucking high quality. Fucking high quality information from this channel. I shitpost a lot, but what I say is the truth. Unfortunately, we are living during a pandemic of misinformation. This post from Naomi is misinformation. I had a family member lie about graduating college. They had been on the job 20 years and the company decided to verify it. This is a completely different situation from anything I talk about in the video. I agree, Naomi. Aspiring candidates look at getting in as more important than learning and growing. How are they going to learn and grow if they can't get in the industry? If I detect any hint of a lie on the resume or interview, it's an automatic reject. Well, good, because in the interview, you're supposed to be honest. But on a lie on the resume, when your job application doesn't make any fucking sense, I mean, you're just having a power trip, Manny Coat.
Automatic reject if there's a lie, a single misconstruement on that resume.
Like, this is you need context, right? Resumes are different. There's no standard resume for each person out there in the world. Sometimes they need some explaining. And if you find something that doesn't align with your fucking keywords, you're like,
Oh, automatic rejection.
I heard the term fake it until you make it a while back. Didn't have respect for the person then. Sure don't have respect for some YouTube guy suggesting that you do that. Security starts with integrity, I feel. Yeah, it does. 100% security starts with integrity. The problem is, companies don't have integrity hiring you. For that YouTuber, where's their integrity in life? Seriously, snap. The integrity of me, like, providing for my family, even when I was unemployed. 2 families, my house, my family's house, for years and years and years. Where's my fucking integrity? Christopher, Blake, Heath, fuck you. You'll be immediately blacklisted after the interview if it's up to me. Dude, all these fucking hard asses in here walking with fucking sticks up their ass. The problem is crappy managers can't catch their lies. The problem is the job posts don't make any sense, dude. Famous YouTuber, perhaps that was your first warning. This is so dumb. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Please go, like, link this video on this thread, because this is not what the video is at all. Go watch it. I even say, now I'm not saying you have to do this, but this is what I have done. This is like tabloids, right? When people like, he did this, and they just take anything that you've ever said out of context and try to, he said it's okay to lie. It's so dumb. Thank you for this. Thank you for taking what I said completely out of context, and then just making it look terrible. So anyways, that's all I have for this video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, post it here, so that she can know, and everyone leaving comments here knows that this was completely taken out of context and that she is wrong, and that this fucking makes me mad that people do this. So anyways, hope you guys have a good, Wednesday? Have a good Wednesday. See you in the next one.